Over the past 14 weeks, I have lost 10.5 kilograms of body fat, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I've done to achieve this. And you might be thinking, well, I'm a personal trainer, it should be easy for me. And you are right, but I've still worked 60-hour weeks on my business, I've still had a social life, and I've still made my fat loss fit around my own lifestyle. And that is exactly what I teach my clients to do as well. So today I'm going to walk you through the exact process and every single thing that I did along the way to help me lose this 10 kilograms and help me get into what is probably the best shape of my life. Now, if we haven't met before, I'm Will. I've been a personal trainer for over 5 years now, helping guys drop body fat, build muscle, and get into the best shape of their lives. And if you would like a little bit more help with your own fat loss, then head to the link in my description. I have put together a free fat loss coaching program that you can grab and start using from today. There's over 20 different videos teaching you everything you need to know to lose body fat and make it work around your life. If you're trying to lose body fat right now, it's literally a no-brainer. Go and get it. Anyways, let's get into the video then. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is nutrition, because nutrition, quite obviously, is the main determining factor when it comes to changing your body composition. If you want to lose body fat, yes, you have to be in a calorie deficit consistently over time so that you can lose the body fat. That's going to be the only way to do it. So that is the number one priority of what I needed in order to lose 10 kilograms of body fat. So what I did and what I do with my clients is I wasn't following a set meal plan. I wasn't following strict macro and calorie targets. All that I did was have a calorie target to follow and a protein target to hit. With my clients, I will base this off their height, weight, activity levels, and age. But for me personally, I know around where my maintenance calories are. And I know that if I gave myself 2,000 calories a day to start with, this is gonna put me in a pretty deep deficit. Over time, then I could calculate my rate of weight loss and check if it was going too quickly, if it was going too slowly, and if I needed to make any changes to my calories along the way. In terms of protein, all I did was I took my body weight in pounds. When I started, I was 85.5 kilograms when I started. All I did was take this number in pounds and I times it by 0.8, which gave me around, if my maths is correct, between 150 and 180 grams of protein. And that is all I aim for. I aim for my 2,000 calories. I aimed for between 140 and 170, 80 grams of protein. And I just focused on nailing that down and staying consistent with it over time. With my nutrition, what I did was I logged everything through MyFitnessPal, so I knew exactly what I was eating. I weighed out all my food, I gathered all my options, and I knew that I could accurately track all the foods that I was eating, and I could stay consistent with this over time so I could lose body fat. For me, with the scales, I actually found that with these 2,000 calories, it was a pretty decent rate of weight loss. I was losing on average 0.7 kilograms a week, which puts me on average in and around a 700 calorie deficit. So knowing this, knowing my fat loss was a little bit more on the aggressive side, I knew that I didn't really need to make any changes to my food along the way. I could just stick with my 2,000 calories. I never needed to change them, and my weight would just keep coming down and down and down throughout the process of fat loss as I stayed consistent. Now, the only difference to this was when I had social occasions. I have a social life too, and I did a lot of different things while I was dieting. I went away for the weekend with my girlfriend's family. We had meals out. We had a couple of nights out here and there where we had a few drinks. And along this way, all that I did to stay on track was to manage and bank my calories along the way. This is something that I teach my clients a lot, because a lot of my clients still have their social lives. They still go out for meals, whether it's with work, whether it's with friends, partners, and they don't want to completely give up and sacrifice that. And I live in the city centre too. There is literally restaurants and bars and everything sat on my doorstep. So the way I did it was this. I just took my daily calories and I worked out what my average calorie intake would be over the course of the week. So for me, with 2,000 calories, this would be 14,000 calories over the 7 days of the week. Now, if I wanted to go out for dinner, if I knew I had a dinner booked on the Friday and I wanted to really enjoy some food, or I knew that I wanted to share a bottle of wine with my girlfriend, Jude, all we would do is we would manipulate the calories through the week so that I would have more on the social days that I could use and less on the other days that allowed me to stay within my calorie targets. For me, and what happened most of the time for me, was that I would have an occasion on the Friday or the Saturday every few weeks or so. And what I would do is this. I would just take my calories down from 2,000 calories down to 1,700 through the week. So I have 5 days of 1,700 calories, and this would give me 1,500 calories spare that I could use for my social occasions, for things like dinners out, drinks, as and when they came around. When in doing this, making some sensible choices while I was out there, not going crazy, and keeping a rough log and generally tracking what was going in, I was able to still lose body fat and enjoy my social life as well. The last thing I want to talk about with my nutrition is that I mainly ate the same meals, right? I find that this takes away decision fatigue, thinking about what to eat all the time, and also it makes it easier to log, cook, and prepare food whenever I'm doing meal prep. But what I did for myself and what I suggest for my clients too is to eat similar meals. The average person will eat around the same 10 meals on rotation anyway. So all you have to do is make them meals work for you. For me, it would look like this. I'd have either eggs on toast or I'd have a yogurt bowl with protein powder and strawberries for breakfast. I ended up loving the protein powder and strawberries, so I just made this my breakfast every single day, no problem. For lunches, we would have either chicken, broccoli and rice, or we would have steak. We'd have these little beef steaks and rice and broccoli as well. Again, 2 different options for lunch, similar sorts of meals, similar sorts of calories and macros and protein, and I would keep them as a simple option. And then for dinners, we would have similar again. We'd either have chicken, rice and broccoli, chicken, potatoes and rice. We'd have steaks we'd have on a Friday with potatoes. We'd have a beef bowl where we'd have beef mince, rice and lettuce, and we'd put some gherkins on there, some ketchup. It's almost like a burger bowl. So we would just have these 7 to 8 different food options that we would rotate through the whole time. That is all the variety that you actually need in your diet. And another thing to mention as well, when you do choose more simple food options, it's easier to stay on top of things, it's easier to stay prepared, but as well as that, your cravings for the highly palatable foods are less. Yes, on my diet, I could have had, yes, I've got my 2,000 calories. I can just go and order a Mackey's and have that for my dinner, as long as it fits my calories. But what this would do is, firstly, I wouldn't be full whatsoever on a McDonald's, because it's highly processed food. It's very highly calorie dense as well. So you get your burger and chips and it's a very small meal. You're left starving after for the calories. Whereas if I had a big meal full of unprocessed food and lots of vegetables like chicken breast and rice and broccoli, it's much more food for the same amount of calories, higher protein as well, which is going to help keep me fuller, make me less likely to go off track and overeat and overconsume with my food. After a couple of weeks of just doing this, avoiding the highly palatable foods, what happens is your body adjusts, your taste buds rejuvenate, and you actually don't crave any of this shit anywhere near as much. And that's why I'm a big advocate for eating similar meals on repeat while you're dieting. The next thing I want to talk about is my training. So when I first started my diet, all I did was 4 sessions a week in the gym. That was it. I did 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. And that was it. I was focusing on getting stronger over time with my lifts so that I could retain or maybe even build a little bit of muscle while I was dieting along the way. What I found with my training was that I would actually my weights increased throughout this dieting process, which is a good sign, which means that if anything, I'm building a little bit of muscle rather than losing muscle on a diet instead. And this was something that I was super happy with. You know, my lifts were going up in the gym week on week. 4 sessions a week actually turned into 5 because I was really enjoying the process a lot. And I moved my sessions, added an extra upper body day in there and ended up doing 5 sessions in the gym. Weights were coming up nicely, really loving and enjoying my training. And that was happy days on that front. The only times where my training did suffer was towards the back end of my diet, when I was like a kilogram away. That's when some of my weight started to come down, my energy levels weren't quite there, and I was really just ready to get the diet finished and boxed off, to be fair. So my training didn't really suffer other than the last couple of weeks. Aside from that, weights actually came up and up and up through the process. I did 3 upper body days, 2 lower body days, and I would be as consistent as I possibly could with that. I didn't have set training days. Monday I have to do legs, Tuesday I have to do upper body. All I did was make sure that I get my sessions in through the course of the week. This helped me because when running my own business, things crop up. I have busier days. Sometimes I have more work on some days than others, and some days I just can't get shit done. So If I've got my program that's slightly adaptable, slightly flexible to my own needs and my own lifestyle, then I can make sure to be consistent with training and get it in, even when things are busy. This is something that I also recommend for my clients as well, is that we set a program which is going to fit around their life so that they have that degree of flexibility with when they train. So that means when life crops up, things get busy, things get in the way, you can still manipulate the training program and make sure they get everything in on a week by week basis. In terms of cardio and activity, I actually didn't do too much on this calorie deficit, on this diet. The first 6 weeks, I did no cardio at all. Why? I couldn't tell you why. To be honest with you, I just didn't. Maybe it's a bit of laziness. Cardio is super important though, not just for the fact that it's going to help you burn more calories and put you in a slightly deeper calorie deficit, but also for all the cardiovascular benefits and the benefits to your heart that it's going to give you. It can reduce it's going to reduce your blood pressure, it's going to reduce your resting heart rate, and these things are all super, super important when it comes to your cardiovascular health. For me, I introduced cardio after about 6 weeks, and I introduced an hour of the Stairmaster. This would just help my fat loss along a little bit more, because after 6 weeks through the diet, I was around about 5.5 kilograms down. And because I'm a smaller human being, my actual maintenance calories that I need to maintain my body weight also dropped down, because I'm not burning as much. I'm dieting, I'm not moving around as much, my body is smaller, I'm probably not able to give as much into my training day to day. So for that reason, I just introduced the extra bit of cardio just to keep the amount of energy that I burn high, so that I can still maintain the rate of weight loss on the calories that I was on. So I did an hour a week, which I split up into 2 or 3 sessions of cardio on the Stairmaster, and I just kept consistent with this until the end of my fat loss. The last thing I want to talk about is how I map this all around my life, because yeah, it's well and good saying I did 5 sessions a week, I did 60 minutes of cardio and this and that, but I work 60-hour weeks every single week. And this isn't me showing off, it's just I can relate to my clients who have busy careers, who have stressful jobs, who work long hours, and they find it hard to stay consistent with their training. So a couple of the things that I've done to help this, especially while I've been busy, is putting things as a priority. So with my work calendar, I would enter my training days and my training sessions. I would put them into my week as if it was a work meeting, a consultation call, or a work block that I have to do. Because of this, and because I am so laser focused with my calendar, if it's on there, it gets done. So I will open my calendar in the morning, see what needs to be done, and then it's like boom, 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 training, I'll go and get my session in. This helped me massively because I've not only made room and prioritized the time to actually train and work on my goals, but it's also helped me stay way more consistent during times when I've been super busy. The next thing that I want to touch on is my planning around food. Now, luckily I've got my girlfriend in there who has been a massive help, and she's actually been on her own diet too. So we've both been drilled in, we've both been helping each other out with our nutrition along the way. And one of the main things that we've had to do with food is we've had to be more on the ball and more proactive rather than react. And by that, what I mean is when we get our food shopping in the week, we need to plan ahead with our meals. Now, the main way we've done this is to meal prep. We eat a lot of rice in our meals, so we make big batches of rice at the start of the week. When we cook our meals, when we cook our proteins, we will often cook 2 meals in one. So if we cook chicken breast on the Monday night, we would also make a meal for Tuesday lunch as well, sorry. Then what happens is we're never in a space where we don't know what we're having for our next meal. Everything's planned out. We can go onto our phones the day before and we can log and track every meal, what's going into the body, and we can plan out our day of eating before it's even happened to make sure that we're on track. That way it doesn't get to the end of the day and we're like, can't be arsed cooking, let's go and get a takeaway. No, we've got some rice and we just need to cook up some chicken in the air fryer or something. That way we're not like, I wonder what we can have today. Why don't we try having this? Why don't we try having that? And then we end up overthinking the meals that we're having some random meal that doesn't satisfy us, and then ending up the pressure building on us to want to crave through the week and temptations come into play. Instead, we've got some food prepped, we've got a plan of what we're having, and then again, like I mentioned before, we've got our simple options of 2 to 3 options per meal to eat. So we just pick the option, make the food, and we have that for dinner each time. We've actually really enjoyed the food that we've been eating as well. And if you can get that into your diet too, you can actually enjoy eating more simple, basic options. You can spice it up with flavorings, seasonings, etc., providing the calories are tracked. You're actually going to enjoy the foods that you eat a lot more, and you're going to crave less shit, to be honest, aside from the obvious of, yes, you are going to be hungry because you're on a diet. But this planning and this management is often where 99% of my clients will mess up on the diet. It's usually because of a lack of planning. The lack of planning combined with a little bit of hunger from them being on a diet equals bad decision making. And that is what happens. So if you can control everything that you can control, you can make sure that you know what you're eating on certain days. You've got options and choices and simple meals that you can put together and prep and make. Your nutrition is going to be 10 times easier to stick to, rather than winging it every day, not knowing what you're having, and then finding yourself in situations where you're stressed, you're tired, you can't be asked to cook, and you end up opening your phone, opening Deliveroo, and then ordering something shit, wiping out your whole progress for the week. Plan ahead. This is one of the there's one thing you can take from this video is plan everything ahead, because it makes your life so much easier when dieting. The last thing I want to talk about is the data that I've been tracking. Now, keep things simple with this. I tracked my body weight every single day, first thing in the morning, after using the bathroom, and before drinking or eating any food or water. This way I could get a consistent weigh-in every single day. Yes, there's going to be ups and downs along the way. I'll show you what my chart looks like now, but it's a very consistent way to weigh in every single day. What I did from here was used the averages. I took my average weight over the course of the 7 days. So we cross out the highs, cross out the lows, and we tracked the average weight and what the median weight did over time in order to judge my progress. So a lot of people will just weigh in every few days, and there's so many different factors that will impact what the scale weight says on a given day. Whether your digestion might be bad, you might have not been to the toilet yet, and your bowel movements are a bit slower, you might be a bit clogged up, you might be super stressed with work and you've got a lot of stress going on, your body might be sore from training, you might have ate a higher volume of food or more carbs the day before or more sodium in your diet, and all of these things can affect that daily scaled weight. It can make the weight on the scale appear higher than it actually is, which means that you think because you're weighing in every few days, shit, I'm going backwards, I'm not losing weight. When in reality, it was just a temporary high day where your weight stays a little higher and it'll come down over time. This is why I logged in my weight every single day. The other thing I logged was my training in the gym. I logged my lifts, so I was getting stronger and stronger and stronger each time. I knew exactly what I was lifting in the gym. I knew exactly how many reps I needed to get, and I knew exactly what I needed to do to beat them numbers over time as well. And then the last thing, I tracked every single gram of my nutrition, from weighing out sauces to weighing out any liquid calories that I had, milk in my tea, milk in my coffee. I actually switched to black coffee anyway, but I would track every single little detail with my nutrition so I knew exactly what was going into my body. Anyways, and that has been me. So over this course of time, I've lost 10 kilograms, going from 85.5 kilograms all the way down to 75 kilograms on the dot. And for me, it's been a super fun process actually. It became challenging. It got quite difficult towards the end of it mentally, being in a diet for over 14 weeks. But as a result of it, I've gone and got into the best shape of my life, and the plans from here really are to maintain this shape now through the rest of the summer. I've got a couple of holidays coming up and planned before going into a slow gaining phase for the rest of the year, where I'll aim to bring up certain body parts and put on some muscle. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope it's given you some more insight in how a quote unquote professional would lose body fat, as this is my job and this is what I help people with, and the exact process that I use with both myself and the same process to a degree what I will use with my clients as well to help them get in great shape themselves. If you want more help with your fat loss, link in the description, grab my free fat loss coaching program. It will teach you everything you need to know. And if you feel you want more accountability and you want even more help with that, and you want to work with me one-to-one, I will leave the application for my coaching in my bio. I say it's an application, it's a quick form to fill out. You'll book in a call with me and we will sit down and just have a good chat about your goals, how I can help you, if I can help you, and put a plan in place going forward. Guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one.